welcome one and all to round number 2 of the C1 group here in C1A, in Season 8 of RLH. We are at the Albert Park circuit, of course. In real life we aren't racing there until later in 2021. Of course, normally the first race of the season has been for, well, all of the recent normal years in Formula 1, and, well, not the first round for RLH and not the first round for F1 in 2021, but however, it was a brilliant race last time out in Bahrain. It saw Monster Blue taking his first win in RLH. Justus managed to put his car onto that P2 slot, and he was in the four-way battle up at the front, but a lot of work to do for him today. He has good momentum, he has the good form from the practice race we had in pre-season. What can the Ferrari driver do? Can he replicate that practice race and get a P1 here in Australia? Yellow flags, and people are just starting to back up, and it looks like one of the Williams cars is going to be the first, and it looks like it's going to be Shabby. Really good race for him last time out, qualified in P4, finished in P2, and a really good drive for him all round. A driver that's made his way up the tiers over the last couple of seasons, down towards turn number 1. Could be an overtaking opportunity in the race, just about avoiding a invalidation there, pushing it all the way. Another long run down towards turn 3, probably the best overtaking spot on the track. Heavy braking zone, getting the car slowed down, dropping it into second gear, picks up third quite early on, and now you work your way through this. Watch, actually, it's a car park. You've got the stadium on your right hand side, fast through here, flat out, I think even in race conditions. And then coming towards the end of the first sector, we're looking at a 26-1 from Shabby. Very good, getting that Williams exactly where he wants it. And his teammate Jarry, I imagine, is doing the exact same. Just behind there's a Red Bull in between them, and that will be Jerome. Shabby now coming through the chicane of turn 9 and 10. A little bit of grass there for him, running right up against the wall, and now it's the car killer. I think it's fair to say the chicane of 11 and 12 drops it down into 7th gear. Brief lift, but great speed through there, and I think just getting that first lap valid and clean and avoiding the wall, it could be a talking point later on in this race. Shall be picking up the throttle nicely there. Like I said, turn 13, coming through the last couple of corners, right on the curb there, just again pushing those track limits on the curb on the exit of turn 14. One more corner to go. Trying to get that power down as much as he can. DRS open out, run towards the line, nothing more he can do, and it's going to be a 1 minute 19.1. That's a brilliant first lap in this qualifying session. We flick back, we'll see how Jarry, his teammate's getting on. Jerome goes into P2 at 20.4. Jarry into the pit lane, and it looks like the Ferrari of Justus is now going to be finishing his lap. Where can he put that Ferrari? Can he go into 1:18s? Not quite, but he goes on to original pole, and the time's going to be coming in thick and fast now. Dugav's into P4 with a 1 minute 20.5. Do you know what, Donkey Dan, Jerome, Dugav's, they're still pretty good laps. But you know, a second back from the top 2 at the moment, and goes into P6. Got Prince rounding the final corner. That was a McLaren crossing line, and that is Simsy just starting his flying lap. Mercedes off, Prince goes into P3 and 19.3. Very good lap from him. We'll see how Sim getting on. Pole position last week. Monster Blue goes into those low 1 minute 19s as well. Just a little bit ahead of Prince, 12,000 between them. Sem pole position last week. We'll see what he can do this week. So far we've got a four-way battle at the top of qualifying at the moment, but I imagine all of them have got a little bit more time to fight. Black Mamba put just Racing Point into P5. Racing Point started last and second to last week, so maybe realising track position is a little bit more important around Albert Park, and I think it is. To be fair, you know, I think it's much more difficult to overtake around this circuit, and I think we've seen in the past Bahrain a little bit more easier to get some moves done. So yeah, Sem, nice and clean through the chicane, and now running towards turn number 13. Gets the car slowed down. Picking up 5th gear, quite interesting. We might be expecting that, but a couple of corners left to go. He also slid away. Simsy, swinging off Simsy a little bit earlier on. He's gone into P5 into the mid 1 minute 19s, and that's towards the line we go with Sem. What will the time be? Wesley goes into P9. Sem goes into P3, just a little bit behind Shabby, but it's very, very close up at the top in this C1 group. And is anyone on a flyer? Yep, Wolfstrom on a flying lap this time, 48 for his combination. I think the only driver we've seen dropping it down into 6th gear for turn 11-12 chicane. I think I would personally, I'd keep it in 7th for the quali lap, drop it down into 6th gear for the race, but just runs that little bit too wide, and has unfortunately invalidated his lap. Jarry and Alex, seems they both had a bit of an awkward first lap. They pitted early, or I think Alex might have come out late. Jarry definitely aborted that first lap, so the other Williams driver can get on. Promoted from C4, of course, managed to finish in a very nice P6 last time out. So he gets on this flying lap. Running now down towards turn number 3, taking the shortest line possible, just has just come out the pit lane as well. Currently sat on provisional pole. He's now weaving his way through the car park. You see the main city in the background. Nice and flat out, avoiding that inside curve, can be a bit of an auto spin curve. Down towards the end of the first sector. Passing Adi Spinner, who's on an outlap, both Haas drivers on an outlap at the moment. Now Jerry gets on the brakes once more. Difficult corner that, down at turn 9 and 10, but negotiates it well. And then we see everybody's gone for the soft compound tyres. No one's looking for a medium run. 47.8, little bit greedy though on the entry into that chicane, and is going to pick up an invalidation, unfortunately. So Jerry, that lap would not be counting. Alex just about to start flying. Lap looks like Invisible was done a 1 minute 20 flat. He goes P10 with that time. And Alex now down towards turn number 1. Nice and clean through there, avoiding any invalidations. But you can see no one's even considering the medium tyres. People are wanting track position here because it is such a difficult track to overtake. And I think strategy will be key. The battle between the 1 and 2 stops, just about avoiding invalidation there as well, Alex. And Ali Spin, who's starting his lap, he's down at turn 1 at the moment. Alex goes purple in that first sector, but I know it's not purple because I think Shabby did a 26.1. Just as started his flying lap 2. Alex getting on. Alex was involved in that little battle last week. He ended up P7. As a fierce battle between sort of 5th down to, I think it was 8th. Very strong battle for the midpoints. Alex 48.2, a little bit up on I think what Jarry was on a little bit earlier. Nice and clean through the chicane. No major sort of what's the word for it? Major victims. There we go, of the chicane. It has been I think definitely in that practice race we saw a few weeks ago. It took a few people out in qualifying and in the race as well. Alex around the final corner he goes, and a little bit of a snap on the rear. And across the line it's going to be a 1 minute 20.1, goes P11 with that time. Jerome miles up on his personal best, almost 5/10. So can he go into the 1 minute 19s? Can he get maybe into sort of P7? He's going to come across the line now. It's going to be a 19.8. And I called it P7 by 1/1000 of a second ahead of Black Mamba. Maybe a bit of a toe going on down here at Red Bull. Jerome giving a bit of a toe to Walsher. Will he gather weight before the end? Yes, he will. There's a bit of a straight line advantage there, just as though towards the line. He was finding even more time. Can he go into the 18s? Yes, he can. A 1 minute 18.804. Brilliant lap from the Ferrari driver to extend the advantage out front. Can Shabby, though, give an instant response? He's almost 2.5 tenths up as he across the middle sector. He comes across the line, and it's very, very close. Less than a tenth separates the top 2. Brilliant lap from Shabby. And he goes onto a 1 minute 18.8. Stays in P2. Big improvements. Prince, though, towards the line. What can he do as he's finding time at the moment? Where can he put that Mercedes car? He goes in a P3, just outside the 1 minute 18s, but a very good lap from Prince. Nevertheless, Jerome invalidated. Well, he was down anyway. How is his teammate getting on? Simsy on a lap at the moment. I think Monster Blue just started flying lap 2. Coming thick and fast. Seems just a little bit greedy on that apex there. The Renault of Dog Ops just starting a flying lap. Haas, I think, about to come into the pit lane. We got, I think Shabby probably just going to the pit lane 2, or is Shabby on an outlap? Not sure. Monster Blue, what can he do? That rhymed. Race winner last time out was hanging back, sort of from the battle. Looked like he might have been P4, but just pulled it out the bag in the race. Got it right, made the moves when he needed to, and a very well-deserved race winner at Bahrain. We'll see if we can get on. Currently in P5, but finding improvements in that first sector in a McLaren sandwich at the moment. Can he join the front group in the low 19s, high 18s? Renault, one of the Renaults just come around the final corner, and it's purple, almost 2 tenths up, just about avoiding a bit of a spin there. He's going to get a lovely toe from the Mercedes in front of him, and that will help him find those extra thousandths. A little bit deep in the braking zone, that could have been because of the toe carrying that extra speed. Flicks it in now for turn 14, now 15. Give him a bit of a Williams up in front. That's shabby. And then the final corner, turn 16. We're going to go around. I think the two McLarens just setting lap times as well. Are there any improvements from them? Doesn't look like it. Bonds to Blue though. Loses time in that final sector. Almost 2/10 off his personal best. Wesley on a time at the moment. He's currently in P7 regular lap. 19.7 for him at the moment. Who else is on a flyer? I think Jarry might be. We'll see how Jarry is getting on. Currently the only driver without a time. This one's valid. He's going to run towards the line. It looks pretty quick at the moment. Where can the Williams driver go? So in a P6, very, very good time in the mid. 1:19, just ahead of Simsy. And Wesley, I think, is on a back off lap. Yeah, I think he just set a time. Wesley, how are the two AlphaTauris getting on? Both of them just in the sub 1:20s. 19.9999 for both of them. 5,000 separates those guys. The Garbs on an in lap. Sam, that was a very interesting line through the chicane. What's the Blue? Just behind. You've got to go flying. And I think we've got the calm before the storm now. Before the last rush. Actually, Donkey Dan is on a flying lap. Marginally up on his time. Using all the track there and a little bit more. Coming towards the turn 13 braking zone. Quite heavy. Very difficult actually, in my opinion. And you can just run easily, just run a little bit too wide, get a little bit too greedy on that on the curbing. And putting the power down especially. But no problems there for Donkey Dan. Round the final corner he goes and towards the line. What will this time be? Can he get into that top 10? Put that AlphaTauri maybe ahead of both of the Red Bulls. Yes, he can. He goes in a P7. Just a little bit behind Jarry, but in the 19.5 club. At the moment, the Alex is just about to start a flying lap. Got Invisible out on track 2. Invisible a 10th up in the first sector. We'll see what his middle sector looks like. We'll flick back to Alex and see how his first sector is going. Invisible currently a 0.17 up. Could have turned a little bit tight, I think, on that second part of the game, but got away on the exit completely. I think it's just better to get it safe and be safe than sorry. Alex, a 10th and a bit up, gone in too deep, locked up, and goes onto the grass, unfortunately for Alex. And it was a very, very good first sector, but he's going to need to pull a rabbit out of the hat with little left in this session to try and move up from P15 and maybe try and get into the 1:19s. Around the final corner comes Invisible towards the line. Can he find improvements on this lap? He can. He goes P13. So improvements for him, but not into that top 10. Could be an advantage starting us off the top 10. We could see some differing strategies at play. Not on a push lap. Drawing up quite early for the final runs, it seems. But a few cars coming out 10k. They're just going through that first sector. And I think it is Donkey Dan into the pits. But Jerome will be the first. That was completely gone. Jerome will be the first of the final runs. Maybe looking to give his teammate a little bit of a tow. Return the favour. So the Red Bulls working well together. No signs of also coming out of the pits, but Jerome around the final corner. DRS open, and he's got a nice little gap in front of him to work into. Nice bit of clear air down towards turn 1. Throw the car in at 4th gear, use that curbing and sort of AstroTurf on the outside, just almost guide the car around. And now coming out towards turn number 3, gets on the brakes hard, points the nose in. See how good the rotation of the car through here. Not using the curb on the inside, using a little bit on the exit just to carry a bit more speed through. And flat out, of course, through turn 5, and then 10th and a half down at the moment for the Red Bull. That could be the fact he didn't have a tow, but I feel like you don't gain as much, that much time with the slipstream. But we'll see if he can maybe make up for a mistake he made later on in the lap. If he made a mistake later on, I mean, I'm on a 19.8 is a very, very quick time. It's fine margins here, and he's found time in that middle sector, really putting the car on the ragged edge, almost up against the wall there. And I thought for one moment we could have seen our first victim, and not at the moment. Jerome absolutely wringing the neck out of this Red Bull, using all the track and a little bit more, and unfortunately used a little bit more, and he's not very happy with that. it was, well, it was perfect until it wasn't in that final bit. The car will, I'm sure, disappear in a moment's time. So the Renault gets on negotiating that one just about fine. Hopefully that sort of disappears. 10k on a flying lap. He is. Will it impede him? I think he has gone. He's invalidated anyway, unfortunately for him. Simsy, next driver onto sort of the first flying laps, the final flying laps, after Jerome's do it wrong. Simsy not happy with that first sector, found some improvements, but is backing off and will be going again, I would imagine, in when he gets to the end of the lap. Black Mamba just starting his flying lap. The two Racing Points in formation with Wesley just around the final corner there in the distance. And I need to work out who is at the front, who is setting the time. So Guzan has retired. He will be starting P18 in this race. The only way is up, I guess, for him. We'll see. Black Mamba working the car well. One of the Red Bulls, that's Walshbridge, just starting his flying lap. We've got Simsy actually finishing his lap, so we'll see how he gets on. Actually, he's better start a flying lap in a bit, isn't he? Black Mamba, 10th and a half up at the moment. Wesley, 5,000 up at the moment, so Black Mamba finding a little bit more time. Wesley does have the advantage as things stand. Mercedes on flying laps. No, they're not. Trying to work out who at the final corner is getting a bit of a car park down there. I'm not sure if anyone's on a flying lap, they're going to be racing towards that. 10k might be. 10k is on a flying lap. They've just got to get out of the way. This is what we see in real life, sort of thing. Invisible just trying to get his skates on in front. Probably not got the gap he wants. 10k, I think, might have just got away with this one. And he does improve to P12. I think he might just be a little bit annoyed. Of course, a big distraction. Cars everywhere as he came around that final corner. Jarry, though, found improvements on the lap. Where can he put his Williams car? He stays P6, finds improvement zone. That could be crucial for the lateral stages in qualifying. Sem around the final corner. He was finding time. Can he go into the 1 minute 18s? Can he jump ahead of Prince? Can he get ahead of Shabin Justice? We'll see now. Goes P2. Very, very good lap. Very good final sector, but just off of our of the Ferrari of Justice. And he's spinning towards the line. He goes P15 with that time. Just jumps ahead of his teammate Alex there. One of the Red Bulls running towards the line. That's Wallström. Wesley retired. Someone's crashed. I think we've had 2 crashes. Wallström goes P5. I think Simsy's crashed. Simsy's crashed at the main chicane where people normally crash, and then Wesley's crashed where Jerome crashed. Alex, though, towards the line. What can he do? Brilliant time from Alex, right at the death there. Finally got that lap right. Finds 0.6 of a second. Oh no! Where's the Racing Point on track? He's now gone out of the way. We've got Invisible, who was just ahead of, ahead of that little gaggle a little bit earlier on. Is that Monster Blue coming towards the line? It is towards the line. He stays P6, unfortunately. Finds big time. Actually, was an 18.7, but invalidated. Prince was a little bit up on his time. What can he do across the line? Stays P4. Doesn't improve, actually. Sem is backed off. He can't improve. Justice has pole position, and there's a car facing the wrong way, and he will be taking pole position. I think this Black Mamba one has already set his flying lap. So for this, he's on the front row. Once again, it's the same front row we had last week. However, it's been reversed. Justice keeping ahead by 36 thousandths of a second out front. It's going to be a great race, I'm sure. The top, well, if we look from P5 down to P15, they're separated by, if I can do the maths, 0.5 of a second, half a second. It's going to be a very competitive race. Strategy will be key. Reacting to safety cars, it is a difficult one to overtake. The start will be important. It's a pinch point down at that first corner. It is an awkward one. And if one car has a moment, has a spin, especially with ghosting off, it could become a little bit crazy down there. But just as a fantastic lap to put himself onto pole position, his first pole of the season. But it's the same front row of last week. Will we see, Prinz getting involved in that battle? He finished 4th last week after starting down in P17, playing with the strategy a little bit last week. Can he fight up amongst the front rather than making his way through the field? We'll see. Today, definitely a good qualifying from him. Wallström, best quality for him for the season. When he last week qualified in P8, so finding a few places for him. Mosbu P6, Jarry in 7th, Alex 8th, 9th, Donkey Dan, Sims 10th, and run through the rest on the formation lap. But unfortunately, there's no, no nice little videos. That's completely my fault. Problems on my end with that, but nevertheless, we've got a great race on our hands coming up, and one that's going to be very, very competitive. It's a strategy that you can go for the one stop. A two stop also works, and I think we're just going to maybe see a bit like last week. A lot of the drivers favouring one, but maybe one or two risking it and trying to go the other way, hoping a safety car or something, comes out in their favour. We just have a quick flick back while the drivers are choosing strategies to the championship, to last week. Of course, only round 2, so we can't jump to too many conclusions. But Monster Boot took the win last week. Shabby in P2 last week and Sem in 3rd. And Prince, of course, that great drive up to P4. Just fortunately, just didn't really go well for him. He was pushing the car to its limits and ended up down in P13. So hopefully he can, try and have a much better result today and keep in that battle at the front. Hopefully a few more can get involved in the battle at the front. It was a 4-way fight that turned into a 3-way fight last week. It must be said, but it's a very different racetrack, the Albert Park circuit. And the session is underway. Everybody's got a tick. And we can get this race, or the formation lap, underway. It was a very slow race start, but we got Justus on pole position, Sem in P2, same front row as last week. Shabby improves 1 position from last week's race start. He's up in P3, Prince in 4th where he finished the Bahrain Grace. Can he find improvements to get onto that podium? Ultra in 5th, Monster Blue in 6th, Jari 7th, Alex 8th, Donkey Dan 9th. Simsy rounds out the top 10 in his McLaren. And now we got a bit of, do we have tyre changes? We'll see now. Black Mamba on the mediums in P11, Invisible on the hards in P12. I wasn't quite expecting that. Could be a little bit slow at the start. Wesley also on the hards. Jerome on a set of softs. He wants to make up progress. He wants to find the places early on at the better pace. 10K on mediums. Addy spinning on mediums. The carbs on mediums. And it is hard compound tyres for Sem Golsen. Interesting tyre strategy choices, it must be said, for the guys outside the top 10. Of course, all of the guys in the top 10 are starting on the tyres they qualified on. And I think this chicane is going to be very, very important for the race. Hopefully we don't see anyone retire. And also, it's going to be important for invalidations. I think it's a circuit that you can pick up a few. It is easy to pick up. If you're not too careful, if you're trying to push really hard, it is easy. I can't speak at the moment. It is easy to pick up invalidations. The cars just looks like it's been hung out to dry a little bit here. A little bit ahead. Bit of these guys are clever. They know exactly what they're doing, trying to make rivals' tyres, not as warm. Of course, on the formation, I'm going to get those tyres up to temperature. Looks like hanging a little bit further back. Wesley just chilling on his hard tyres, wants to make sure they're nice and up to temperature. Of course, in P13, I'll go through the tyres again. It's hard tyres for Invisible, Wesley, and some goals and mediums for Black Mamba. 10K Addy spinning into Garbs. Drones on brand new soft tyres, and everybody else on the tyres they qualified in. But it's now time for the start of round number 2 for the C1 category. It's going to be a great race, I'm sure. They were so close in qualifying. Will we see the same again in the race? The lights are here now. We have 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights at the Albert Park circuit for the round number 2. And we're lights out and away we go. Who can get the rest of the start? Looks like Monster Blues had a good start. We're making it 3 wide further back. And it looks like the Ferrari of Justice has got to head down into turn 1. Sem in P2, Shabby 3rd. Prince just about holding on to 4, but here comes Monster Blue. It's been a brilliant start from him. He's already jumped ahead of the Red Bull of Wolfsburg. Seems everyone's got through the first couple of corners pretty cleanly. Prince on the inside line. He's just about going to keep ahead of the Alfa Romeo, the Red Bull. Looking interested down there. Williams running wide, and it's all carnage further back as cars are just trying to negotiate. Alex making a position, but he's run wide and gone off the track there. Simsky has made up 1 position on this race start. Jari, though, up into, well, he's not up into 2nd. He's up into, I think, 7th. And Jerome, well, I think after that mistake he did really well not to not to drop down the order. The yellow flag's further back, and who is that for? It's Black Mamba. He seems like he's got all his wheels and everything, and he's going okay at the moment. We look through the order now. It is wheel-to-wheel stuff between Donkey Dan and Simsy. Will we see a bold move into the 911? We are going to see a bold move down the inside. Will this one be pulled off? I don't think it's quite done. And the McLaren just holding on and doing actually a pretty good job there to hold off the battle. That's the predicted British Drop tragedy. Either a one-stop or a two. And it's like are the two Haas cars getting involved. Gunter Steiner will not be happy about that at all. But everybody away in this first lap relatively cleanly as a swapping position, so maybe an unfair move. Wesley does not know what's going on. Oh, sorry, Black Mamba does not know what's going on. Black Mamba taking advantage, going down the inside of Adi Spinu. Alex not having the greatest first laps, and he is into the pit lane for some repairs. Back up at the front, Justice has got the lead from Sem, from Shabby, from Prince, from Monsterwood. That is your top 5 in this race. And Jarry, after that sort of slide through where we are now, turn 3, just teetering on the edge of a second. Jerome 1.4 back from Jarry. And for free, it is difficult to overtake, but there are 3 DRS zones on this track. So, being close definitely gives you the advantage. Wesley picking up the first 3 second time penalty on it. That just shows, how much of a, more difficult track it is for those penalties. Definitely more than Bahrain we saw last week. Cars make their way through the middle sector. See, they're all pushing the track limits, trying to gain the advantage early on. And Sem keeping very close to the Ferrari in front, man, just trying to give him that look up the inside. But see who's getting the most positions on the opening couple of laps. And it seems 10K and Garbs the big winners. St. Gauzen as well. And Jerome actually up 6 places. So great start from him in this race. But all the cars pretty close, everyone at the moment. Of course, DRS is now enabled as they cross that line, just so in the fastest lap of the race, getting the gap up from about 0.4 of a second. And there we go, DRS is enabled. We could start to see a bit of a DRS train form. The top 7, all, well, apart from Justice, all in DRS range of the car in front. And that can just make it even more difficult to overtake. Your rival's got DRS as well. And of course all the electrical tools to defend as well. Get the tyres up. I think this could be quite important. Jerome though, he started further back, but those soft tyres have worked for him. They have worked for him. He's going to have the freshest set of softs out front. He can go that a little bit longer if he wants, or he can push them a little bit harder. Simsy and Jerome, closest battle on track at the moment. Bit of wing flying there for somebody. That looked like it was a piece of Williams, and it's Jarry. Jarry picked up front wing damage, and well, by that line through there, I think you can definitely safely say he's picked up front wing damage. And that could be crucial around this race. The fine margins we've seen in C1. Well, Simsy looked for a move. He was very close. This one could be happening soon. There's a big bit of, quite a snap there from Jerome, and Jarry dropped outside DRS instantly. Will he pit early on? Repair that front wing? Yes, he will. These C1 guys, the value of full front wing quite a lot. And there is a change of position. Simsy already ahead of Jerome before they really got, anywhere down the straight. So maybe it's from mistake there for the Red Bull. Can he fight him back now? Now though, but it's Simsy with DRS, of course. And Jarry into the pits for a set of hard compound tyres. And this little battle was giving Simsy a lot of work to do. You can see the cars up in front, but a bit of a gap at the moment. 3.4 seconds to work to. Jerome's had a massive moment, lost the rear of the car, and he's dropping now behind the 2 AlphaTauris and the Garbs. Wesley on his hard tyres will be, well, maybe trying to get through in a little bit if he can. And so far in this race, the top, well, I was going to say, just how it shows you how things can change over a couple of laps, because, oh, up in there, Jerome's struggling with the car a little bit, I think, in the early phases of this race. Walshaber and Monza Blue inside DRS. Shabby, well, they're fluctuating now on that 1 second. Everyone's sort of slotting into a rhythm, and just as well, he's just about got that, well, Justice has just about got the second out front. Sem does not have DRS. Shabby, I don't think, has DRS. Just saying, another fastest lap of this race. Shabby was just within a second by the detection point. can help him pull away from Prinz. And I think well, it always seems to be running a bit of a train at the moment. We're starting to see a few different trains form. Prinz leading the battle for P4, and this top three starting to sort of run away a little bit with the gap 2.2 behind. You can just see them out in front. And then Simsy has got a bit of a gap ahead of Donkey down in 10k, and Jerome still ahead of Wesley by over a second. That one's going to drop down below a second now. I think well, last week there was quite a lot of battling early on, and then we settled into a bit of a rhythm. I think that rhythm's come a little bit earlier in this race, to be perfectly honest. I think it's one of those tracks that you need to get into a rhythm quite quickly, as Donkey Dan picks up a time penalty. That could be crucial towards the end of the race. Ultra seems to be, visually looks like the quickest one out of this freeway battle for P4, but of course, Mosby's run a little bit deep. He's put that the right tyre on the dirt when he went to the braking zone. That's cost him quite a bit of time. Prinz managing to gap away here a little bit from this. Of course, the Alfa Romeo still has DRS, and also the Red Bull has DRS. It shuts, of course, as he hits the brakes. Can he get a good run now? Oh, big snap. The Red Bulls just seem to be a little bit twitchy today. For both drivers, 3 seconds for Alex down there in P17. As Black Mamba and some Gauls on swapping positions. That was down at turn 1. Not sure what happened there. Maybe a little bit of contact, maybe a little bit of pinching down at turn 1. That cost the Renault. Wesley picks up, I think, another time penalty for him. 6 seconds already to his name. The top 5 are without penalties. Wolsterbrook, the first driver with one. We still have 18 drivers in this race. The Alfa Romeo, I think, just running a little bit too wide there, maybe picking up a bit of a warning. But the top 3 seem very happy at the moment, just slowly building the gap from Prinz. I think, for the top 3, one of them to sort of make a change of position, I think we could see maybe an early dive to the pit lane from somebody. Try and force an undercut. And just use an undercut to try and gain a bit of advantage. Shabby, well, definitely within undercut range, I think you would say. So close to the back of Sem, but yellow flags. That's Wolsterbrook. The Red Bull is facing the wrong way. He needs to be careful now when spinning this one round, and I think he knows that. And of course, oh my golly gosh, I don't know what his that was close. Luckily, Black Mamba avoiding it, and Wolsterbrook doing a good job to spin that one around. Yellow flags down in sector 1. I think he's got a little bit of wing damage on the front of that Red Bull. No safety car or VSC. He managed to spin that one round without any dramas. And that's going to be gutting for him. He's looking really good in this race, sat in P6. But Simsy slowly working his way up the order. He's got a bit of a gap to Monster Blue. As we're on board with Shabby up in P3. Been looking at the back of that McLaren since turn 2. And they all slotted into order. Batman picks up 3 seconds, and Sem, that is a late dive into the pit lane, pulling the trigger and sort of making sure Shabby didn't follow him. It was a very completely illegal. Did it with inside the little cone, if you like. But Sem pulling the trigger on the pit stops. He's putting on a set of hard compound tyres, and I think where he is on track, Prinz also coming in. This is triggering the pit stop phase in this race. We're seeing pretty much everyone going onto the hard compound tyres. Looks like no one's coming in for mediums. Everybody onto a set of hards that has come in. Yep, Donkey down onto hard compound tyres too. They're going to the end now. No more, predicted pit stop. What's the word? They don't have to make any more mandatory pit stops. They want to go to the end. And Black Mamba right on the back of Sem. But no DRS for the racing point, because the detection point is behind sort of the final corner. And that gives you DRS for the first and second straight. So Sem in P9 now. Got a bit of a gap to work to, and I think with that tyre advantage, I think is safe from Black Mamba behind. But will we see an undercut now from from Sem. He needs to really make use of these new tyres. They should be a little bit quicker than the old softs. Or maybe Shabby can do an overcut and try and jump Sem. Slowly, he's reeled in just as a tiny bit, by a fraction since they came in. De Ferrari's staying out. What's the Williams going to do? The Williams is coming into the pit lane. Shabby slams on the brakes, of course avoiding a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Monster Blue follows him in. Monster Blue is in as well. And what tyres will it be? Seems he picked up 3 seconds. That's not what he needed, currently down in P13. McLaren's double stacked, actually. It's hard compound tyres for the Williams. Looks like hard compound tyres for the Alfa Romeo. And where's Sem? Where's Sem? Sem's running down the pit straight now. Of course, Williams is the last garage. There is Shabby. Can Sem keep ahead, or Shabby made it work? Shabby's having the awkward inside line. Can Sem do a bit of a cut back here? You know what? He's judged that to perfection. It's now a drag race. No DRS here for either driver. This is the battle for effective P2 on track. Sem is going to have the inside. Shabby's going to try and go clean around the outside. The Williams driver, can he make this one work? Sem's going to be forced around the outside now. And looks like he's got the momentum and the speed. They sort of tyres touch now. We're still wheel to wheel as we go through turn 5. Running now towards the end of the first sector. Out turn 6, looks like Shabby has to slot in behind the McLaren. Brilliant work there from Sem. Lined him up from turn 1. And, well, got the job done. Shabby did his best to fight that one back, but it's brilliant driving from Sem. Monster Blue right behind Prince. It looks like the overcut might have sort of worked here for some drivers. Maybe just as new. That's why he stayed out. We'll see if he comes into the pit lane on this lap. Monster Blue very close to Prince. I think he might sort of drop back a little bit when we go through Michigan. Of course, the dirty air taking effect. The Ferrari staying out. He's not interested in pitting at this current time. A brilliant battle between the McLaren and the Williams. Of course, two historic teams in Formula 1 giving it their all. And no one coming into the pit lane on this current lap. But it seems the one-stop is the preferred strategy for all the drivers here around Albert Park. Opting for that track position. It's not the shortest pit lane in the world. It's not the longest pit lane in the world. I think a two-stop could be possible, but it's just going to be difficult to overtake people, even with that tyre advantage later on. Have a look at the gap to the leader. Sem 23 seconds behind just at the moment. Is that gap coming down? I think a little bit. Is it coming down a little bit? It's not massive. Of course, the Ferrari driver will have the tyre advantage later on, but I think the gap is coming down sort of slowly but surely. Is the Ferrari pushing now to come into the pit lane? Maybe. Keeping it nice and controlled at the moment. Surely we're going to see Justice into the pits on this lap. No, we're not. He's extending for another. Ferrari driver not coming in. Staying out. Sem has now caught up to the back of Invisible and Wesley. Both of those guys started on the hard compound tyres. And maybe this is what Justice didn't want. He wanted to maybe try and jump Wesley and Invisible if he thinks he's got the pace. He doesn't want to come out behind the Racing Point and the Mercedes, because I think they could be holding Sem up. The tyre difference is 7 laps, so it's 7 laps. It's not for the hard tyres. It's not the biggest thing in the world. Yeah, flags. It's the other Williams, Jarry. Jarry's off. He's on the gravel. I don't think he has damage. Maybe just a bit of a spin for him, so he can get on his way. No drums there, but looks like Sem going for a move. Sem shaping one up down the inside of Invisible. They're wheel to wheel now. Sem's had this one done before, and he's gone round the outside of Invisible. Getting the job done there. Great move from Sem. Can Shabby take advantage, get ahead? At the first time of asking, he's going to go down the inside at turn 6. That's an unorthodox place to make an overtake, and he's got the job done, and he's getting on with it. And well, just as this is falling into his hands perfectly, it is holding Sem and Shabby up. We'll see what the gap now is between our effective second and third and our race leader. It's 22, so it has come down by a second. What's happened here? Black Mamba. Black Mamba is in the wall. I think he avoided damage on that Racing Point. No, big damage. He'll be forced into the pit lane. Of course, 10 lap mediums. He can take the hards to the end, I think, quite comfortably. Wesley has been overtaken by Sem. Sem now making up positions. The gap now 21.8 seconds. It is coming down. Is it enough, though, to challenge? Just as he is put on a set of medium tyres. the race leader going for the two-stop. Simsy getting ahead of Black Mamba, so both racing points losing his position to McLaren at the same point. Where's Justice going to come out in this one? Will he be out behind? He needs to be out ahead of Sem. Going down towards turn 1. Can Sem line this one up like he did a couple of laps ago? He's right behind the Ferrari. Had to slow down a little bit. Prinz has got ahead of Sem Gors, and that was a relatively easy move down into turn 1, it seems. But just as well, I think he was a little bit lucky there, just how it sort of, where they met at turn 1, Sem, well, had to slow down a little bit. Maybe a little, a clever move there from the Ferrari to sort of force Sem to slow down. Now we've got a race on our hands. Those medium tyres, can they go to the end? They could do. I mean, I'm sure Justice can make them go to the end, but it's going to be a big ask. I think maybe that's why he extended his stint. He wants to take the medium tyres to the end rather than a set of hard compound tyres. Because he's going to have that tyre advantage, especially sort of these first 10 laps. And as they run down towards or through this final sector now, not about as close, and well, Sem, if he can keep with it, keep close to Justice, maybe towards the end of the race it can come back towards him, and it can come in his favour a little bit. I'm gonna have a look and see what happened in the pre-season race in Australia when our race leader made some good moves. Who has had a moment somewhere? There's yellow flags somewhere, I'm not sure. We're sure now we've got 2 cars into the pit lane. That's 10K and the Garbs. I think they were sort of planned pit stops. The top 3, well, even after that first pit stop phase and after the difference in strategies there as they were. And the 2 AlphaTauris are going to get very close down to turn 1. They are. Round the outside goes Donkey Dan. He moves himself up in a P10 just ahead of 10K. Can 10K come back at him and get ahead? I think he's going to try. Donkey Dan goes defensive. And actually, I think it was just a swap of positions there for the 2 AlphaTauris, maybe in communication over a bit of team radio. Monster Blue close to the back of Prinz. These guys still battling it out at the moment. And having a look back in the archives as such, Justice did take a set of mediums. Was it after a safety car? No, he took a set of Justice pitted for mediums and took a set of medium tyres basically to the end in the pre-season race. So he's done it before. He knows what he's doing. And he's got a gap of 1.4 seconds. I think extending the stint in the way he did, Monster Blue's gone a little bit wide. That invites Sam Gosling, I don't think it will. Monster Blue loses all the sort of ground he built up there. And just as well as he planned this one to perfection, extending long and maybe just calculating that that Sem and Shabby would struggle a little bit. Oh, there's a battle going on further down as Walstra gets overtaken by Black Mamba. And it's been taking these set of soft tyres quite a long way into this race. Mr. Garbs and Jarry swapping places down at turn 1. Garbs goes in a little bit deep. Jarry does a sort of a duck and under. Bit of a switchback on him. But the Garbs with DRS will be coming back out the Williams, trying to maybe look for a move around the outside. No way there. And Jarry keeps ahead for the time being. No way around the outside either. Or is there? Not quite. Jarry just holding on for the time being. And he's been ambushed both into the pit lane. From 17th and 18th. Shabby really closing in to the back of Sem. No way past at the moment, and just as well using those medium tyres to full effect. 2.2 seconds ahead out front at the moment. Yeah, flags. Oh, we got a culprit down at, or a victim of the big chicane. Safety car is out now, and there is debris. Drivers avoiding it, and the car stricken on the track. We'll be able to see it now. And that is Jerome losing the car and into the wall. The safety car is out. Who is coming into the pit lane? We've got Simsy into the pits in the McLaren. I think the front group just sort of missed it. And at halfway stage in this race, we have a safety car. Simsy Donkey Dan into the pit lane as well. I'm sure we see Jarry. Yep, Jarry came onto the hard tyre a little bit earlier on. He's now going to put on a set of mediums, I would imagine. Looks like everyone that has come into the pit lane has put on a set of mediums. Actually, the Williams driver will be no different. Yes, he is. Williams are preparing a set of mediums. I'm sure someone won't put on the mediums and I'll get it wrong. Black Mamba comes into the pit lane. He pitted only recently. What tyres are they putting on? Down at Racing Point, set of mediums like we expected. I think Justice could stay out. Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see Wesley and Invisible come in. That will hang Prins out to dry. Prins might be forced to stay out here because I'm sure Invisible will come in, I'm certain of it, to make his mandatory stop. Invisible hasn't pitted yet, so we'll come in for a set of mediums. And that could leave Prins a little bit vulnerable if he wants to come in as well for a set of mediums. We'll see what Justice is going to do. Justice staying out. Sem late move into the pit lane once again. Shabby follows him. And Wesley coming into the pit lane too. Invisible as well. And Prins forced to stay out. He's going to be the one who has track position. He'll move up into P2. Renault of Sam Gosling also into the pit lane. So the hard tyre guys, it's worked for them. It has worked for them. You know, the safety cars come at the right time, I think I would say. Maybe the medium stint's going to be a little bit longer than they would want. But nevertheless, it's come to one stop for them. And Wesley, after going very long in this race, has come out in P6 after starting outside the top 10. So strategies definitely work for him. Monster Blue also staying out and going with a bit of track position. So, of course, he doesn't have a teammate, so he didn't have to worry about, you know, if anyone came in. 10k into the pit lane as well. He's just coming out behind his teammate. Their battle will carry on, I'm sure. And of course, what safety car does is makes penalties a little bit more important. 10k the only one with 9, 6-4. Wesley Simsey, Alex McMahon in the 3 for the rest. But everybody on the medium tyres, apart from DeGarbs, Monster Blue and Prins, and he's made out the most positions. Sam Gosling up 10, Wesley up 7, Invisible up 5. Those guys making the hard tyre strategy work. DeGarbs up 7 as well. And not a good day for the Red Bulls. They seem quick over one lap, but maybe I think just under race trim a little bit twitchy when we saw them. Maybe that's what happened to Jerome. But the tyre battle, you could say, is neutralised. However, Justice has 2 hard runners in between himself and Sam, Shabby, Wesley, Invisible, and the rest of the pack. And we've got a bit of a break now while we just wait for things to concertina up, and then we can get going. We're just waiting for a few cars on the top side of the circuit. And DeGarbs is into the pit lane this time around. The Renault driver is coming into the pits. I think he could be racing with Alex on the X. Actually, Alex can get out ahead quite comfortably. Will Black Mamba be racing with him? We'll go and follow the Renault through the pit lane. He's on the exit now, so I think we'll rejoin in that P14, just ahead of Black Mamba. He's back out onto the track. Who was fastest lap? That's a thing we can have a quick look at. Fast lap, Justice at the moment, only person in the 22s. Rotman in the 23s even. That was a cracking lap from the Ferrari driver. I think it was on a fresh set of mediums. We'll get the telemetry up so we can, of course, see when he decides to bolt. We might get going this lap. We've had his spinning on Mulster, but get a bit of a move on. There are a couple of corners behind Black Mamba, but I'm sure we'll join very, very quickly to the back of the pack. The gap is coming down quite a bit now between themselves and the back of the field, and we could get going this lap. We'll have to have a look. Of course, it normally appears when they enter the final. I hope we do get going this lap. There we go. We're getting going this lap, so don't have to wait that extra 2 odd minutes. And just as the starts to back the pack up, of course, ERS is sort of restored. Everyone back up to 100%. Fuel, there'll be no more saving. I think everyone will have, you know, sort of rich mix to the end sort of thing. And he really is backing up the pack Prinz on the hard tyres just behind. Using first gear and shouldn't have really back in the pack up. Everyone being forced to keep this one careful, because we have seen penalties behind the safety car a little bit more common on this year's game. The safety car is into the pit lane, so the Ferrari driver can go when he wants. Still warming up those tyres. Still warming up those tyres. And we could be seeing him go now. Up into third gear, and he's going to put the power down. And it's been a brilliant restart from just as he's got that one to perfection. I think the two guys behind on hard tyres. Massive moment there. And look at Sem already trying to find a way past Monster Blue. Prinz still trying to warm up his tyres. Up in P2. The hard tyre runners just can't get the tyres fired up at all. And it's costing the likes of Sem and Shabby. Sem, though, ERS was on. Probably should have kept it on. Will he look for a move on Monster Blue? Will he send one down the inside? He was much better on the brakes. But look at the gap out front already. 1.5 seconds. The other McLaren of Simsy looking on the back of Sam Gawson. Can he find a way past on the exit? No, he can't. So we return to the train that's starting to form behind the hard runners. And Shabby, if he can nip away past, he could be looking at P2 in this race. I think you would say them. Oh, and here comes Sem. Sem, though, going clean around the outside of Monster Blue. Shabby's going to send one down the inside. Can he get laid off on the brakes? He can't. Sem, though, round the outside. Has he kept it on the black stuff? You think he has? They're still going to be wheel to wheel, though, as they run through that turn. Well, through what actually isn't a turn, down towards 11-12 chicane. Can Shabby go down the inside? Can Shabby make this a two-car move? No, they both slotted ahead of Monster Blue. Monster Blue loses 2 positions in 1. And here comes Shabby's right on the back of Sem. Shabby wants to go down the inside here. Shabby wants P3 in this race. They're going to be a wheel-to-wheel bit of contact. The tyres coming together. And on the exit now, can Shabby get the move done? Still Sem, still hanging around the outside. That's been a bit of a theme for him in this race. At the inside, then switches to Sem. He gets the elbows out, and he keeps hold of P3. Great driving from Sem. And the battle between these two is in great old race. Monster Blue very close to the back of Shabby, but I mean, look at that Williams gallop off. He's got a bit of a ERS enabled, and look, here comes Simsy down the inside of Sam Gawson. Much better exit for the McLaren driver. He's got the high ground on the inside, and he's going to move up into P8. So good move there from Simsy, but he's going to be under attack from Sam Gawson straight away. And safety car really igniting some battles here. Will Sam Gawson someone down the inside? Oh, look, here comes Donkey down out of absolutely nowhere, sending one round the outside of Sam Gawson. Loses 2 places in 2 corners. Good little move there from Donkey Dan to put himself up in a P9, double his points tally. And Justice has got 3 seconds out in front, so already sort of a time penalty buffer, if you like. But Prinz, we saw some great driving last week. Can we see some more great driving this week? He's going to have to get real defensive. No DRS for him, and, well, pretty much every car behind him has... Actually, no, I'll take that back. Every car behind him does have DRS, and Jerry's facing the wrong way. He won't be having DRS. Complete front wing, maybe just a bit of a spin, maybe a bit of contact. We won't know until after the race, I'm sure. Sam Gawson picks up 3 seconds. Is that the McLaren getting close? Not quite on this occasion. Away through. Wesley teetering on that 1 second. Well, do you know what? The hard tyre runners... Oh, it's been a bit of car park. What's happened here? Oh, no. It's all gone wrong at the final corner. Wesley, he's going to be loving this. I do not know what happened there. Prinz will be furious. Maybe a bit of contact. Here comes Shabby, though. Shabby moving up. He sort of avoided it all. He did quite well to avoid it. He gets ahead of Wesley, or back ahead of Wesley. Invisible now up to P5. And Monster will be up in a P2. He's getting past it all. I think maybe. Well, Sem into the pit lane. He's put on a set of Softcom tyres. Maybe, I think. Oh, I don't want to jump to conclusions here at all. But maybe Sem was close enough, sent one down the inside, bit of contact. It looked like bit of contact, and it forced sort of Prinz into a sideways spin. And then Shabby got caught behind it. Monster and Wesley were allowed to just sort of get round on the outside because you know they saw what was happening a little bit further back. And it's cost him massively. Simsy, though, can he line one up down the inside? The miserable, not quite. Luckily, a Mercedes McLaren battle. We're going a little bit well cleaner that time. Not sure if there was contact. I think there might have been. I don't know if the contact initiated the collision or the... Wait, no, that's not the right word. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it was a sort of a personal... I can't speak, to be honest. I don't even know what it was, Bog. There's been changes up at the front. No, it's Shabby. Oh, no, he's had more contact up at the front. Shabby went too wide, losing the car. He had the move done, and round the outside goes 10k as well. And I think, Monster Blue is going for him. He got through on that last lap. I think Shabby's avoided damage again. And Monster Blue is into the pit lane. Oh, the McLaren's into the wall. That's Simsy. What's happening in this race? He's got no damage though. Here comes Sam Gores and he flicks to the inside. DRS enabled for the Renault driver. His gloves off in the second half of this race. Simsy runs a bit too wide. 10K tries to do a switchback. Someone's got damage. It's 10K. 10K's on the grass. Here comes Alex now. Alex was miles back at the start of this race. Look at him now up in P8. Will Simsy send one down the inside? No, he thinks better of it. Here comes. That's a very late move. I think the Garp's even later. There's now a car park. There's a VSC. It's all kicking off now. As there's 5-second penalties for everybody. VSC neutralising this race. Oh, who was that? What's 10K doing over there? I don't even know. I think it was one of the AlphaTauri sent it. Oh, it must have been 10K. Sent it in a bit deep as we were on the camera that looked back. Walsher was picked up a 5-second penalty. And well, you know, it was. I think the Garb's even later on the brakes. And it just caused 3 cars into one, does not go, and a bit of a spin. But I'm loving this, it's great fun in this phase of the race. I haven't got a Scooby-Doo on what's going on, but look at Wesley. Of course he's got a time penalty at the moment, but he's in a great place. He's just been avoiding all the trouble. I don't know how Simsy didn't get wing damage as well. He was thrown into that wall. And I mean, just as well, he's absolutely clueless out front. We haven't spoken about him. In all of this, as DRS is enabled, racing once again. Who can get the rest of the restarts? I think it's going to be Shabby. Shabby with DRS. He's already ahead of Wesley, and Shabby, well, taking advantage of that VSC restart, getting it spot on. Further back though, Walsher has lost position because he's into the pit lane. Sam Gordon and Simsy swapping positions once again, but here comes the Renault driver. Simsy will have DRS. Will we see a Renault make a late move? I think Simsy just got the pace on the straights to chill out in front. Just as he's going to be absolutely clueless to what's going on. He's just going to see he's got a massive lead out front and he's going to be absolutely loving it. I would imagine Monster Blue and Sem jump ahead of those that have just pitted. But this race has just come alive for some people, it must be said. I think, well, a late safety car could be very interesting if we get one, or if the battling steep, keeps going on like it was. I think the gap's a little bit more spread out at the moment. But all of a sudden, the race just erupts into, well, a little bit of carnage. I think that's fair to say. And Justice can chill out front. Don't have to worry about it too much. Wesley in a good position at the moment, and going a bit better from this time around. Monster Blue picks up 3 seconds. We're down in P13. I think they'll be hoping that others pick up a few more penalties so he can profit. Maybe try and sneak into the points. But Wesley just about nipped a P10 last week. And Jarry getting very close to Prince Killer. He's almost pushing him round the final sector here. Prince on those hard tyres. It just hasn't really worked out for him. Shabby says the fastest lap of the race. He's putting the hammer down. Just a 22.6, 3/10 quicker than the previous fastest lap of the race. But Prince, yeah, I just don't think it really worked out for those guys who stayed out. They tried to sort of make the strategy go in their favour, but they sort of just bumped the back up, to be honest. And just the older hard tyres just didn't work out for them. Jarry with DRS, fortunately doesn't have any ERS to make the move, and now the soft tyre runners start to put their fastest laps in, as Senders a 21.6, a very quick time. And Simsy, his teammate, picks up 3 seconds for his troubles, but up at the front. Well, Prince can still gain from this. He hasn't got any penalties. Neither has Ali Spinu. He's a little bit further back. Shab and Justice will be fine. They don't have any penalties at the moment. So can pick up 3 seconds and not feel too worried. We have a look at penalty watch. A brief moment. Invisible could be gaining here. Invisible could be nicking that final podium spot if things stay as they are. Simsy, I think, is going to be losing out big time in this race. Could maybe even be dropping out the points as things stand. Prince still close to the right man, but Jarry close to him as well. On board with Jarry. I think Prince might be the one who's looking to try and shape up a move here. Going to close as Alex picks up 3 seconds. 3 seconds are starting to flood in now as drivers run out of sort of warnings. Donkey Dan getting close to Invisible. There's been more contact, and all the McLaren goes straight into And one of them there, and that's them Gauzen up the inside. He just thought, I'm going to go for it. And here comes Simsy. Oh, and it's all gone wrong. It's all gone wrong. It's gone awfully. Who's that sneaking up the inside? That's Alex taking advantage. The safety car has been called out. The late safety car has come about. And oh my golly gosh. Invisible. He's lost out big time. Simsy picks up 5-second penalty. It just went from bounds work for him. I think 3 wide there doesn't count. I mean, the comments are going to go crazy again because, again, the race just erupts into life and all of a sudden things start to kick off just down the inside, just maybe a little bit late on the brakes, I think you could say, and cars just coming together. And my oh my, it kicks off once again. There's drama here at Albert Park. What are they going to do at the front? The safety car, a couple laps left. Yeah, 3 wide there was it was a little bit silly. I think just sticking the nose in the door. The Renault just taking full advantage and going down the inside at turn 4. I think he was probably within his rights to do so, but I think the car on the outside wasn't expecting it. They sort of came together a little bit awkwardly. Shabby stays out. That's crucial for this race. Wesley stays out. Donkey Dan stays out. Where's just going to come out in this one? If he comes out, oh, this might be the wrong call from the Ferrari. He's going to be behind De Garbs. Of course, he hasn't got any penalties, but this could be giving Shabby the win. Shabby doesn't have any penalties. The crucial thing about this, the safety car will come in 2-3 laps left. Probably maybe 3-4 laps left. Oh, I shouldn't have pitted. I think maybe just as thought everybody else was going to pit. But Shabby probably thought, I'll do whatever you don't. Wesley, well, he might as well stay out and just give a bit of track position. But a lot of guys further back coming into the pit lane. Just has it all to do now because he has to, you know, he can get ahead of Wesley, Donkey Dan, Alex, and Gauzen De Garbs on penalties, but he can't get Shabby on penalties. That's the key point in this one. Justice needs to get P1 on track. Well, he just needs to get ahead of Shabby on track, but there's 6 cars in the way. Again, if we look at penalties, we're going to see some big losers in this one. Simsy's going to lose out massively with his 12 seconds. You know, Alex. Prince is going to be gaining as well. Has Prince come in? Or is he still on those hards? He's still on these hards. He's going to have trouble warming his tyres up, but he's got no penalties. Addy Spinu could come alive in this one as well. After, you know, to be fair to him, it's not been great. A poor start, but he's just got his head down. He's put the work in. It could be coming alive for him. Avoiding penalties. I don't know what it is about Albert Park, but it does love a late safety car on F1 2020, and we've seen it once again. The safety car will go on. I think maybe the McLaren of Sen will join the back of the pack before the next laps. We could get going on that next lap. That leaves us 27, 28, 29. 3 laps left of racing. Surely it's too much to ask from Justice. I mean, if anyone can, he can. He's got the humongous tyre advantage. It's old mediums versus brand new out-of-the-box softs. Prince can struggle, but he's got no penalties. That could be crucial. I think everyone in front of him got 6. They have. 6. You know, he's got 2 seconds a lap. And of course, everyone in front of him, apart from Justice, has old tyres on as well. Oh, I don't know how this race is going to go. I really, really don't. You have to admit Shabby is in the advantage. He's in the hot seat at the moment. He's holding on to that P1. You know, it's his prerogative to keep hold of it. It's his to lose at this point. And just as he's done everything right in this race, I think, you know, that is undeniable. I will imagine, unless something goes wrong, he's going to be P2 because of the time penalties. But we just don't quite know. The tyres, well, a brand new set of softs could be really, really beneficial. I think the pack is joined up. We should get going this lap. I hope we get going this lap, so we get an extra lap of racing. But this is going to be a barnstorming finish to this Australian Grand Prix. We're not sure who's going to win. We haven't the foggiest of clues, I think it must be said. And if you're Justice in this position, the safety car is in his lap, so that's good news for the Ferrari. That is good news for the Ferrari. He's got an extra lap to try something. He needs to pick him off quickly. That's really what he needs to do. He just needs to get on with it. And maybe, well, if he's desperate for the win, take a few risks, but I think he would really need a point finish after sort of it all fell apart last week. But nevertheless, we go up to our race leader, the Williams of Shabby. It was second place last week for the Williams driver. Can he go one step further? He now leads the way. Wesley in P2. He's had a great race. Wesley calling all the shots right at the moment. And will Shabby go now? He's still weaving it. And he's put the pedal down. It's been an okay restart. Here comes Donkey Dan. Donkey Dan's right in the wheel tracks of Wesley now as they run down towards turn number 1. I think there's been maybe moves further back. Just as looking on the back of the guards. Will he send one down the inside? Not quite at the moment. Of course, no DRS for 2 laps. Alex, though, trying to pounce on Donkey Dan. And the 2 Renaults running wide. Even wider for Sam Gordon. He's going to lose 2 positions in this one. Donkey Dan, not quite ahead. Actually, Alex has got ahead of Donkey Dan. Alex up on the podium places now. And the Ferrari going down the inside of Justice. He's already up in P5 past both Renaults in this one. Addy spinning close to the back of Sem. And look at the soft tyres giving much better grip. He wants to go round the outside of turn 5. Oh! And Donkey Dan just slowed in the mid part. The Renaults having to slow down. They're side by side now. And Garbs, oh, that was close. It's all kicking off as the soft tyre runner's just got the advantage at the moment. Just as wants to get past Donkey Dan. I think he's going to be going down the inside, is he? That's what he's going to be wanting. They're going 9 wide further back, and the Ferrari still can't get past. The Ferrari got damage. I think the Ferrari has damage from maybe that little bit of a touch. I can't tell. He's going too quickly. I think he does. Justice has damage as well. He still can't find a way past Donkey Dan. He's now done a bit of a switchback. Here comes Simsy ahead of some Gordon. The Garbs trying to go through on Donkey Dan as well. Oh, it's all going wrong for Justice in the final part of this race. He's just about going to keep ahead. The front 3, sorry, is staying as they were. And Justice pick up a time penalty. Is that for a collision? I don't even know. Simsy trying to go round the outside of the hard rain Prince. They've all gone in too deep. Who's that taking advantage? It's Jarry. Jarry gets it nice and cleanly. He gets ahead now. Jarry up in a P8. Simsy though on the attack of Prince, who's starting to fall down the order a little bit on those old hard compound tyres. Will he look for a move down the inside? That's what he's going to try. Bit of a lock up. Both get through. They're relatively unscathed. And trying to go round the outside now is the McLaren driver. And I think he's up and into P6 in this race. But I think what Prince has to remember is he could be looking at P2 in this one. He really, really could. We don't know how things are going to go. He's not got time penalties, and that's important in this race. Invisible's out, and that is in the pit lanes, but don't have to worry. Sam Gordon and Sem. Oh, Sam Gordon's lost another position. He's now down to P15. Shabby out in no man's land at the moment. Alex ahead of Wesley. If I can have a... Oh, Jarry getting very, very close to Prince. Could we see another move down at this chicane? Not quite. Prince gone a little bit deep. Walsham's got ahead of Addy Spinu. That's a good... You've got to get up early to get past Addy Spinu like that. And now the chasing back behind is Prince and Jarry. I don't know where to look. Jarry trying to go down the inside of Prince. These guys on pretty old tyres, and there's a bit of a wheel bang. There's still someone going from side by side. Here comes Wallstrom. He's going to try and go down the inside of the pair of them. Jarry goes to cover him off. Just about shutting the door. Can the Red Bull go down the inside? I think he can. On Prince. Prince trying to hang this one around outside. He goes a little bit deep. Who's that getting involved? It's Addy Spinu. Addy Spinu is going to go down the inside of the Mercedes as well. He's just about keeping it ahead, but the Mercedes hanging on there. Prince defending for his life now, because he hasn't got any penalties, and he's just about keeping ahead. DRS is now enabled. Can this race get any more crazy? I'm not sure. Sem has got ahead of Monster Blue somehow in all of that as well. And here comes Addy spinning once again. Will he go for a bit of a lunge on Prince? No, he won't. Plays that one sensibly. The car going off him, and now here comes Blackman. Going to be stealing that final points paying position. Of course, Addy Spinner will probably get it back because of penalties. Sam having a look down the inside, putting the front wing in there. But no way through just yet. Simsy very close to the guards. Want to get the penalties up really quickly. Justice picked up 3 seconds. So I think he might just be P2. Actually, no, he won't. He's not close enough to Wesley. Wesley could be taking P2 in this one. Simsy trying to go around the outside now of the Renault. And just about gets ahead. Good move there from Simsy. He's up into P5, but with time penalty, will be falling back a little bit in this one. Jarry will be gaining places. He's only got 3 seconds. Addy Spinning losing a position there to Sem. Sem gets ahead. That's a move down at turn number 9 and 10. And just as well, he's pushing. He needs to get within 3 seconds of Wesley. I think he is doing that. He will probably be taking P2 in this one. Going to be very frustrated with that wing damage he picked up. Could it have been different without the wing damage? I'm not too sure. But round the final corner we go. Shabby takes the win here. No penalties. He's Well, he's got this one absolutely spot on, and he takes the win here. Wesley will cross the line P2. It might change a little bit. Alex will be third. Justice now takes P2. Wesley is third. Simsy crosses the line and drops down the order. Dagam P5. Jari is sixth, and that's someone spinning across the line. I think that's Wolsterborough. Look at that gap between those two. Oh, Wolsterborough dropping down to P12 now. As Alex and Ali Spinu are there. Prince up in a P4. There's been an absolute pile up on the main straight. And we're just waiting for Donkey down. It's a couple of corners behind, but we'll try and pick up some of the pieces. Chavi is first. He's improved one step from last week. Justice on the podium. I think he'd be a little bit annoyed. He came to pit lane, but nevertheless P2. Wesley in third. Great job from him outside the top 10. And Prince, well, where he started, P4. Getting it spot on with the getting no penalties, and even dropping back a few places at the end. Still managed to hold on. Degarves takes the game's driver of the day. I wonder how many places he made up. Now, I'm not even sure where he slotted in, to be honest, right at the end, but I'd say the top three deserving of a podium. I think they all kept it pretty clean and just trying to skate their way through at times, but it definitely kicked off a little bit. Yeah, great job from the Haas boys, it must be said, the little Romanian duo in P6 and P7. I think, again, they took advantage of these safety cars. They jumped ahead. They had a few less penalties. Of course, Alex did cross the line in P3. And I said earlier, they just sort of came alive at the end, the two Haas cars. We've got Shabby taking the win. Justice takes P2. Could have been a little bit more for him today, but, 18 points nevertheless. Wesley, great job in P3. Prince, back-to-back P4. Jari, P5. Improves one place from last week. Alex and Addy spinning, P6 and P7. Good job from them. Dugarbs up into P8. He got driver of the day. So up from 17th. Look at that. 16th, 17th. Wesley up from 13th onto the podium. Great job from him to make up 10 places. Monster Blue takes up the final point. Simsy, Ulshabut, 10k. Black Mamba, 10 goals and Donkey Down, Invisible. And Jerome round out the order. And I think I need a lie down. Very, very crazy end of the race. Thank you everyone for joining. And we'll see you all tomorrow for C5 and C6.